today we're speaking about using the KWL technique for IELTS reading. So what is the KWL technique? Well, the K stands for what you already know, W stands for what you want to know or what you wonder about, and the L stands for what you have learned. So what we do is, as students or as teachers, we create a chart. On the left column, we write down what we know as we approach the reading passage. And then we make a list of what we want to know. Maybe what we want to know are questions, or maybe it's vocabulary, or maybe it's meaning of expression. Once we've studied the text, we make a list of what we have learned. And if we follow this technique, you can use it to master any subject that you feel afraid of or that you feel intimidated by, because it will help you to overcome the difficulties in the subject. Why should we use it? Well, as I mentioned, it helps you to read and to master a passage with purpose. It makes reading easier, and you can start to remember more. Once you make a list of everything you've learned, you won't have to keep rereading the texts. It's going to speed things up. How do we apply the KWL technique? Firstly, skim the passages and questions. Then identify what you know in the passage. Write what you know in the K part of the chart. Then find out what you want to know or understand. Is it a question? Is it a word, an expression? And make a list in the W column. And then finally, once you've studied the text, write down in the L column what you have learned. So let's take a look at an IELTS reading. So on the left, we have 5 paragraph passage. And on the right, we have a list of true, false, not given questions. Okay, so what do we know? What do we want to know? And what are we going to learn? Okay, well, if we read through the passage here, firstly, what we know is that it's a passage about the space and air industry. So we read paragraph A. Since the creation of the first aircraft by the Wright brothers in 1903, there have been great developments made in the air industry. One of the most exciting innovations of recent times is suborbital space flights, currently being developed by Virgin Galactic and Blue Origin. Okay, so we know it's about space and air. As we skim the passage, we see the names Richard Branson, he's the owner of Virgin Company, and we see the name later, Jeff Bezos, the owner of Amazon. Okay, so these are things that you might recognize, you might know. And there are also comments about going to the moon and going to Mars. So we all know about the moon and Mars. But there's lots of information here that we don't know, a lot of words that I don't know. And what we would like to know are the answers to the 3 questions. So we want to know, number 1, Virgin Galactic and Blue Origin are both involved in land transport. We want to know if that's true, false, or not given. Number 2, we want to know if Virgin Galactic planned to send private customers to the edge of space. And number 3, if Virgin Galactic has succeeded in reaching space. So if we look for number 1, we know that the passage is about air and space industry. So we've learned that. So we know that number 1 is in fact not given. There's no mention of land transport. It could be true, they might be involved in land transport, but we don't know. So it's a not given. If we look for number 2, if we look at paragraph B, we'll see that it says the vision of Virgin Atlantic is to bring their special clients to the edge of space on White Knight 2. Okay, so we've learned that White Knight 2 is a commercial aircraft used by Virgin to take passengers to space. So number 2 is absolutely true. Number 3, Virgin Galactic has succeeded in reaching space. When you skim the passage, you can see there's a reference to Virgin Galactic's attempt to enter space. Through Spaceship 2, there were ongoing issues, several issues, tragic problems. Skim through passage C, you'll see that there were accidents. So we know that, in fact, Virgin Galactic has failed many times to bring people to space. So that number 3 is absolutely false. So this strategy is very useful for gathering information quickly and getting the answers. Not given, true and false are our answers. So if we take a look at a different type of text, this 6-paragraph text is about sustainable architecture. There are a list of headings that we need to match to the paragraphs. So let's make a list of what we know. Well, I know the word architecture. I've seen it before, but I don't know the word sustainable. That's a new one for me. So let's read the paragraph. A, architecture that designs buildings with the objective of protecting the environment is called sustainable architecture. This type of architecture considers the use of land, energy, and materials in the global vision for a more sustainable world. So what I've learned is that sustainable architecture is, in fact, green or eco-architecture. And we can find the heading with this information that paragraph A is number 3, defining sustainable architecture. Let's move on. If I look at paragraph B, there's a word I don't know, placement. The placement of a building is one of the first steps in sustainable architecture. Buildings should be placed in a zone to allow for green transport to and from the area. Okay, so if we connect that to one of the headings, we'll see that the position of buildings is a paraphrase, a synonym for placement. So now I know that this word position means actually placement. Okay, so we've learned a new word. Paragraph C. We see lots of new words in paragraph C: rock, stone, bamboo, sandstone, clay, and a reference to natural products, recycled products. I know what recycled means, but I don't know all of these other words: wood, stone, cardboard. But if I read the paragraph, I can make a connection, and it says these sustainable materials include rock and stone, bamboo, sandstone, clay, etc. Paper is also sustainable material, as it is recyclable and can be used as card and cardboard. The employment of these natural products and recycled materials uses less energy than creating new products. So what I've learned is that these products are in fact natural and recycled products. And I can quickly look at the headings and find that the best heading here is number 2, reusing building parts and materials. Those are our answers. So that's it on the Want to Know Learned method, or KWL method. Use it when you're practicing the readings. It will help you, as I said, to remember, to learn more quickly. Good luck in IELTS reading. See you in the next video. Bye.